welcome to my channel once again. And in the part 1 we had observed about the introduction of the poem The Ballad of the Tempest. I hope you had understood the introduction, and I hope that you have understood everything that was said about the author. And the author of this poem is James Thomas Peels. Okay, and today we will be reading the whole poem one by one, and I'll be explaining you one line in detail with their meanings. So students, if you are watching this, I am requesting you to watch this video till the end, because if you do not watch this video till the end, you might miss out certain things and you might miss out many points that are very essential for your learning. Okay, and if you're new to my channel, do not forget to subscribe, like and share if you like the video. So students, let us start. So the topic is the Ballad of the Tempest. So if you concentrate here, okay, so this is the first stanza. So we were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. Okay, now it's clear. I'm so sorry. We'll start again, students. We were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. It was midnight waters and the storm was on the deep. So this is the first stanza. So in the first stanza you understand that students, so in the first stanza we come to know that it is talking about a sea voyage. Now might be there is a big crowd and they are going in they are on a ship or they are on a boat, and the cabin of the boat is crowded with the people, and not a soul means not even a single person is daring to sleep. Daring means has the courage to sleep. And why it is so? Because there was a tempest. The tempest was about to come into the sea. That is the reason why all the people or all the crowd into the cabin was very fearful or was not couraged to sleep or was not daring to sleep. Okay, this is what we say. And a storm, all the people were seeing that a storm is coming, is about to come. Now we go on to the second stanza. Okay students, so here is the second stanza. Okay, so here is the second stanza. I hope it is clear to you students. And the second stanza goes like, this fearful thing in winter, to be shattered by the blast, and to hear the rattling trumpet, thunder cut away the mast. Okay, so tis what it is. Actually, it is the short form of it is. Okay, it is the short form for it is. Fearful thing in winter. That means people are saying that it is a very fearful thing. It means storm arises during the winter season, and in the sea when the tempest is arising or when the tempest is coming, what happens? It is becoming very fearful for everybody. Okay, it is becoming very fearful for everyone. To be shattered by the blast. Okay, to be shattered. Shattered means, students, shattered means like shocked, or shattered means very tired. Okay, or very upset. And the rattling of the trumpet. Rattling means clattering, that sound. You know, when the wind is blowing and the windows, if you see, it kind of shakes. That is called as rattling. You know that sound. You must have observed or you must have seen. That is called as rattling. And trumpet, students, so this means upset or tired. Okay, this means upset or tired. Shattered means upset or tired. And rattling means clattering. What is the meaning of rattling, students? It is clattering of anything. The sound clattering, okay? So rattling means clattering. Okay? So I'll just write down the meanings over here up only so that you understand whenever you are going through my video. Okay? So to be shattered by the blast. So by the blast, here the poet means by the blast means by the storm or by the tempest that is going to come. So that is called as by the blast. Okay. So and to hear the rattling trumpet. So trumpet is a metal instrument that is played. Okay. It is a brass. It is a brass mostly, and it's like golden in color, and we play through it. So it was like, and to hear the rattling trumpet, thunder cut away the mast. Okay, so we'll read this stanza once again. So it goes like, this fearful thing in winter to be shattered by the blast, and to hear the rattling trumpet, thunder cut away the mast. I hope this stanza is clear to you. Okay, students. Now we go to the next stanza, right? So this from so to death is the next stanza, and the next one is the below one. So we'll just go over here and just, okay. I hope you can see. So, okay. So yes. So we shuddered there in silence, for the stoutest held his breath, while the hungry sea was roaring and the breakers stopped with death. Right? So here the author is trying to say that, what the author is trying to say, that, just a second students, I'll just make it a little more visible for you all. Yes. Okay. So shuddered. So what is the meaning of shuddered? Shudder means to shake suddenly, shake very hard. So shudder means to shudder means to shake suddenly very hard. Okay, I hope it's clear. It's there. Okay. So we shuddered means they shuddered in silence. That means they were very, very scared. So because all these people were very, very scared due to the tempest, what happened? In fear, they started shuddering. That means they started shaking, shivering. Okay, for the stoutest held its breath. So those people who were a little bit, weak-hearted, they started shuddering, they started shaking of fear. But the people who were strong, they held their breath. That means they were in a state of shock. Just imagine, death is just near us, and what will be the condition of the people, or what will be the condition of the crowd? They'll start shuddering. Everyone will be calling out. Everyone will be scared. The people who are little weak-hearted, they might even faint. Okay, and the people who are little strong, they will be like, they could not believe their eyes. So stoutest means strongest. Okay, so I'll just write it down. So stoutest means strongest. I'll just take another color. Okay, students. So what I explained to you, I hope that much is clear. While the hungry sea was roaring. So it means hungry sea was roaring. You see here the author is using a personification. Sea, can the sea roar? No. We know that lion can roar. So when an inanimate object is given the quality of being like a animate object, like a living object, that figure of speech is called as personification. So if you read this line carefully, while the hungry sea was roaring. So here, being hungry and roaring are the two qualities of a living being. But you imagine in your head, can a sea be hungry? No. Can the sea roar? No. So the author has given in an inanimate object the quality of being animate, or the quality of being a living thing, like a living being, right? So what is the meaning of roaring? Roaring means making a very loud noise, right? Making loud noise. Okay, making loud noise is the meaning of roaring. So you imagine, so why is the author telling that the sea was hungry and it was roaring? You see, students, the tempest was coming into the sea, and the tempest and the storm that was coming, it was about to take everything, engulf everything in itself. So this thing of the sea storm, that the quality of engulfing everything into itself, is called as being hungry. Okay, right? And roaring, why is it roaring, students? It's roaring because what happened is that it is just, the sound that it makes when wind is there, when water is there together. You imagine there's a dangerous tempest. The sound that will come will be like it's roaring so hard, right? So that is why the author has told that while the hungry sea was roaring and the breakers talked with death. So what is a breaker? Breaker is a large wave. Okay, what is a breaker? Breaker is a large wave which is covered with white bubbles. So you see, when you are near the seaside, when you are near the beach, you see large waves. You don't see a tsunami type or something like that, but an average wave we all have seen in our lives. So when the wave comes, you see some waves are so dangerous, like they look like they are white in color and bubbles are there. So they were talked. So what the poet is saying, and the breakers talked with death. That means the poet is comparing breakers with death. So this breaker, students, I told you, is a wave that is mostly white in color, and it's covered with white bubbles. It's not white in color, whole soul, but it's covered with white bubbles. So this wave is talking to death. It means the wave is bringing death towards the people on the boat or on the ship. Are you understanding? So it is not talking. So here also you see the personification used by the author, right? So it is not talking. So the breaker is not talking to death. Obviously that is impossible. But the poet is trying to compare, or is trying to show us that breaker is something, or it's called as a breaker actually. So breaker is something that is talking to death. That means death and breaker are two friends who are now attacking on the people on the boat. Are you understanding? Okay. So I hope you are understanding whatever I am teaching you. That is why I am taking stanza wise, because what happens, poems, once we read and once everything is over, when we read it line by line, we don't understand, right? So that is why I am teaching you one by one. So please pay attention, okay, students? So I hope this much is clear to you. So next, if you see, okay, so next stanza, I hope it's clear. So from but to, and that is not clear. Okay, I'll just read it to you, students. Is it clear now? Land, yes. So from but to land is the next stanza. So students, you see, but his little daughter whispered as she took his took his icy hands. Okay, as she took his icy hands, isn't God upon the ocean just the same as the land? So students, what is happening here is, there was a little girl in the boat and she was somebody's daughter, and she whispered and she took she took his icy hands. Who is his? Now whose daughter is this? This is something very imaginary. The poet has imagined that on the boat there might be, there is a crowd. He is imagined earlier also. And then after that he is also imagining that there is a little child and there is a father also, okay, of the little child. So this little child is taking the icy hands of the father. So now why the hands are icy, you will ask me. So hands are icy because everyone is scared to death, okay. Everybody is scared to death, okay. Everyone is so scared that everyone is shivering and has become cold. That is why the hands are icy, okay. So this little girl is taking the icy hands of her father and saying to the father, like, is God not there on the ocean like he is there on the land? So this is a small little child. She is a small little girl, okay, and she is just asking a random question, because we pray to God whenever we are in danger, whenever we are in trouble, we pray to God, right? We pray to God whenever we are in danger. But what this girl is saying, and where do we pray? We are not always into the sea or into the boat. When we are on the land, we pray to God. But this little child, what she thinks that, is God only on land or is God also on the ocean? Will he save us? Like, will he save us if we are in the ocean? He saves us when we are on the land. But is he going to save us when we are in the ocean? This is the question of the little girl, okay? So now we go on to the next this. Okay, so students, this is the last stanza. You can see. So we'll read this. I want you also to read it with me so that your reading skills also increase, okay, side by side. I don't want you to stay mum. If you are watching this video, you read along with me, right? And all the difficult words will be explained by me there and then itself. So whenever you watch the video, you are familiar with the So students, this is the last stanza and I want you to read with me. Okay. So then we kissed the little maiden and we spake in the better cheer, and we anchored safe in harbor when the moon was shining clear. Right? So I know the end is a happy ending, but I want you to understand more. So then we kissed the little maiden. Who is the little maiden? In the earlier stanza over here, we had read that this maiden is nothing but a little girl. So who is called as a maiden? A young unmarried girl. A small young girl is called as a maiden, and this word maiden is no longer used, right? So a young unmarried girl. Right? A young unmarried girl is called as the maiden. I have written, students, you can see over there. Yes. Okay. We kissed means the people kissed because the people were really reunited with God. All these times we were not thinking, but all of a sudden what happens, that this little girl really reminds him, or really reminds the crowd of, yes, that we should pray to God, you know. So this little girl is the is the cause of all started praying and all were safe at the end. So what happens? And we spake in better cheer. Spake, students, spake is the past tense of spoke or speak, okay? So spake is spoke, right? So spake is nothing but spoke. So spoke is an archaic term which is no longer used. Spake is an archaic term which is no longer used, right, students, nowadays. But in poetry, still some poets try to use this word spake, right? And then in better cheer, that means everyone started speaking good, everyone was happy. Cheer means happy, cheerful means happy, right? And we anchored safe in harbor. What is anchor? Anchor, if you must have seen in movies, or I'll provide you with a picture also. Anchor, you know, with the ship there is a long chain tied, and at the end there is a type of instrument which they throw, and to stop the boat. They throw on the what we say, on the beach or on the sand to stop that boat. Okay, so that is called as the anchor. So what is the poet saying? These people anchored their boat in harbor. Now what is a harbor? So harbor is a place on the coast where ships can be tied up and protected from the sea and the bad weather. You see, so they anchored, they stopped their boat in the harbor. So you see, eventually they are safe. You see how this little girl is responsible for reminding them of God even in the sea. Now we have the habit of praying to God when we are in normal conditions, but here the little girl is reminding everyone that you should also pray to God here. She is just reminding us of God. She's not reminding us of prayer or anything like that. This is not what the author said, but she is reminding us about God. Okay, she is what the core of this poem is, that this little girl is reminding us about the God. Okay, she is reminding us about God, that God is not only on land, but God can be on oceans also, on the waters also. Right, students? When the moon was shining clear, so when everything was clear, everything was okay, the weather was good, they were finally safe. So this was the explanation of the poem. I hope you all have understood. Now we'll carry on in the next, this will be observing the remaining parts. I want you to watch that carefully. So students, we'll meet in the next part.